On February 22nd, we learned some details about the villas at the Disneyland Hotel, aka the DVC Tower over in Disneyland at the Disneyland Hotel. But it's not everything I think most of us wanted to know. In this video, we will go over those pertinent details and also do some speculation about what the heck is going on. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline.
And Adam.
At Pixie Dust PhD. Thanks so much for joining us for this conversation today. We are filming on Friday, March 3rd. Again, what we learned was released on February 22nd, so it's been about a week and a half, and to my knowledge, we haven't learned anything further yet. If you enjoy this, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your support, and we would love to hear your thoughts about the Disneyland DVC Tower and speculation about what might be going on in the comments down below. Let's get those facts out of the way, and I will leave a link to the Disney Parks blog post in the description below. First, in that post, you can see some pictures of the rooms, the various theming. That was all very exciting. But the real news here is that the Disneyland DVC Tower is opening sometime in September. They did not say what day, but September, so that's really exciting. It's definitely earlier than I thought it would be. I figured they would be doing like a mid-December opening, so hooray. And then we also learned that they are opening up cash reservations on March 15th for DVC members, March 16th for Magic Key holders, that's the annual pass over in Disneyland, and then March 17th for the general public. But honestly, that's pretty much all we learned. We didn't get anything about timeshare ownership, so there's no points charts, price per point, annual dues, anything about resale restrictions, anything in that realm. We, again, don't have an official opening date, and just a lot of the things I think most of us DVC folks are looking forward to the most. There's been a lot of speculation going around the internet, of course, about why that might be. It is a little strange to introduce cash bookings and then, it's been a week and a half and we still don't know anything about ownership. I've seen two prominent theories. One is a weird, try before you buy theory where they want you to stay on cash and then that cash may apply to a future DVC purchase. I suppose it's possible, but to my knowledge, that's not something DVC has done before. And I don't really know why they would need to. There's a huge pent-up demand for DVC in Disneyland, so you don't really need a try before you buy situation. So while totally possible, I would say I think that rumor is pretty unlikely. The other big rumor I've seen going around is maybe it's just a cash tower in general and there is no timeshare ownership, but then why wouldn't they just have a new tower for the hotel? They have always advertised it as being a Disney Vacation Club resort, aka a timeshare. So I also don't think that's super likely. There's variations on that rumor too, where maybe it's cash only for the first 6 months and then they sell the timeshare. I don't know. I don't think the intent though is for it to be cash only overall.
Yeah, you wouldn't market something as a DVC resort and then not sell it.
Right.
It would be a waste of time and energy on Disney's part. And why get your core customers' hopes up or advertise them, this is something you can buy, please follow us, right? And then not ever do it.
Right. So for the record, neither of us are lawyers, neither of us are timeshare experts. The little bit I do know about timeshare law applies to Florida, and presumably the California timeshare laws do differ to some degree. So we're also just speculating, but yeah, these primary rumors I've seen floating around just don't make a lot of logical sense to me, and I think people are just grasping for anything at this point, which I totally get. So I'll pass to Adam in a second, but my real thing the only thing I could have any logic on is about pricing. So they haven't released pricing yet for the Disneyland DVC Tower. And of course, given the pent-up demand, people are speculating, what if it's $300 a point, which is possible. Thank you. But ultimately, they tend to sell the non-sold out resorts at the same price per point. So for example, right now you can buy into Aulani, Riviera, and Grand Floridian, and they're all priced at $217 per point. You feasibly probably could sell out the Disneyland DVC Tower at $250 a point, but then they're not going to bring all these other resorts up to $250 a point in one jump, right? So we might see a jump to $225 a point, $230 a point, and then maybe they sell everything at that rate. I am guessing there may be some internal debate about whether or not they should continue to sell all of the non-sold out resorts at the same price, or if they are going to bump the Disneyland DVC Tower up a bit more. Obviously, for profit, you could bump it up more and make more money. That's very desirable. But I think from a communications and marketing standpoint, it's hard to justify selling the Disneyland DVC Tower price per point higher than, for example, Grand Floridian, which is your flagship resort at Walt Disney World. So I have no inside knowledge. This could absolutely not be a thing, but I do think them figuring out pricing for the timeshare part may be a little bit of a holdup.
Yeah, I really think you're onto something there in terms of the rumor mill. Having a consistent marketing and communication strategy across all of the DVC properties before bringing it into the overall ecosystem is probably something that they want to gauge the overall demand and see how much or how many people are willing to book for cash at the resort, maybe get some kinks out of the operations. Who knows? But there's definitely, they're taking their time, right? And people just need to, I guess, be patient, right? And there's other business reasons too beyond marketing and communications. For example, when a business has a construction of a new tower, there's things called construction loans, which often are different than normal business loans due to their higher risk nature. So a lot of the timing of the cash flows and then things called balloon payments, which typically are due at the end of construction loans, there's a big outlay of cash, which is due at the end, which is typically refinanced. But there's all these other corporate considerations in a giant project that generates rents and dues and operations. If you're a DVC owner, you get those annual reports of the properties, right? So a lot goes into this, and I think they're still trying to figure all of this out, and they want to open and get money because they're a corporation. But ultimately, I think there's probably some consideration of let's try and make some money while we figure this out and squeeze more juice out of this orange, and then they'll probably release it. I don't know when, but they certainly will. Most likely at some point, because if they didn't, it would fly in the face of everything they've been communicating and everything they've been investing in this property. There's so little supply at Disneyland versus Disney World that they've been wanting to definitely bring a DVC, additional properties, to Disneyland because they do want to continue to grow that property and make it more attractive to other people than just locals in California.
For sure. So Adam does have some knowledge and background in commercial real estate, so he can speak to the financial aspects definitely better than I can. And it's worth noting that right now, I assume none of the tower is actually declared as a timeshare. So there are rules and regulations around once it is 100% declared, how much you can rent out for cash as opposed to the timeshare ownership on points. But I don't think those would apply just yet. And even when it opens, typically for the resorts, they don't declare all of the rooms right away. It's going to be a subset of rooms that get declared for the timeshare ownership, and the rest is totally fair game for cash.
Yeah, there's a lot of these aspects are obviously at play. Like we said, we're not experts. If you are and have insights, leave comments down below. But I think at this point, everyone is just speculating, grasping at rumors, and drawing their conclusions based on their own assumptions. However, I think it's just a play to try and make as much money as possible while they figure out how to make the overall DVC ecosystem make them as much money as possible.
Yeah.
So they want to make a lot of money, and they're still trying to figure out the best way to do it. These things take time, and testing with supply and demand makes a lot of sense. And certainly not releasing all of the information right away sucks for the consumer, but they have the pricing power to do that, unfortunately.
And like Adam said, with a construction cost, if the rooms are going to be ready in September, but they won't be declared as the timeshare, from a business perspective, why not do the cash? Like, people will want to be first and will pay the cash rate to stay there, which, by the way, I don't think the cash rate for those cash only reservations has been publicly released yet. I haven't called member services to inquire because it's not something I would do. But yeah, it's, unfortunately we have to wait and see. I do think at the end of the day, it's probably just legitimate, normal business reasons why this is happening. Of course, I wish we had points charts and price per point and all the sales and ownership information already, but hopefully it's coming soon. My gut says it should be here around the end of March, middle of April or so. The only reason I really say that is because middle of May is going to be then 7 months out till peak Christmas travel time. And I would think if they do intend to get that timeshare ownership happening sooner rather than later, which I would guess is the case, that they would want to give those people the 7 months plus 1 day advantage to book Christmas time before anyone else who's a DVC member that has points that they could use there.
Yeah, and Disney probably wants to get a boatload of cash for getting lump sum payments for these timeshares at some point. They're not just going to let that hang out there when they could get all this money, because I think they ultimately do make more money when they sell the timeshare and have that business model, at least in some capacity. Again, not an expert here, but I would think that's why they build DVC resorts instead of more hotels.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
If DVC wasn't profitable, they wouldn't keep investing in it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's probably higher margins in DVC, and there's probably very good reasons to why they haven't shifted to that higher margin solution right away. And because they probably are earning higher margins than booking cash rate rooms, it's coming. They're just taking their time and trying to maximize that value. And like Jacqueline said, they want to try and get folks in by Christmas. That's the most popular time.
I would think.
You would think. Or there could be some other considerations we're not aware of, right? So I think this is one of these things where people are just jumping to conclusions, and you just have to be patient to get this information, which I know we're all waiting for with bated breath.
It's hard because I was fully not expecting to hear anything until really mid to late March at the earliest. So, we heard something in February, which was exciting, but it wasn't what we wanted to hear, which makes the waiting, I think, that much harder.
It's like seeing a teaser at D23 for a project that's like 3 years out. You get the surprise trailer weirdly a year later, but then it's still 2 years out. And yeah, information vacuum. People are just trying to fill it.
Yeah. And to the point of, home priority booking, it is possible that if they don't get sales off before the 7-month time frame for very, very high use times like Christmas and New Year's, that they just give like a 1-week priority to people who buy into the resort before general DVC owners can book. I do think that's been done in the past. So there are workarounds for this that don't revolve fully around the 7-month booking period. But yeah, the point is, we don't know that much. We still have to wait. I think the primary rumors, at least that I've been seeing float around, don't make a lot of sense to me. And I know we're all grasping at straws here, but sit tight. We'll keep you updated as we know more. We can't always turn around video super fast because life happens, but you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at PixieDustPhD. And I also do try to make text posts in the community forum here on YouTube. So hit that notification bell, turn on all alerts, and you'll see when those pop up as well. Definitely let us know your theories in the comments down below. Obviously, we're eager to chat about this, and hopefully this won't be relevant soon and we will just get ownership information in the next few weeks.
Yeah, maybe this will spur Disney to finally release some info.
Oh yeah, they definitely watch the channel, for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we hope the rest of your day is magical. See you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.
Bye.